Alright, so this is going to be the fourth review I'm recording today. And this movie I actually went to see last Thursday before work, so um, I should be able to remember a little bit more of it compared to some of the other things that I reviewed like almost 2 weeks later. So sorry about that, but yeah, I am doing the best I can with my memory and remembering stuff, but this is the first day I've been able to sit down and I really don't want to have to go back and watch everything over again. So maybe I'll just end up doing re-reviews of them later on in the year when I'm a little bit more caught up again. Because yeah, right now I still feel like I'm behind and I've got other lists and now I've got a whole bunch of other stuff that people are suggesting to me. So I've got to write them down and get to them when I can, right? Um, and I've got some promises from other older videos again that I've still got to do. So yeah, I guess yeah, there's so much on my plate right now that I'm trying to get done. So yeah, it's just been hard to keep up. So I'm doing the best I can with actually being able to sit down and finally do all these reviews. So today we are going to be reviewing Paws of Fury: The Legend of Hank. So this was actually done by Nickelodeon, which I found was in, like pretty incredible actually. Um, and they did a very good job of breaking the fourth wall, but I found it was in a very unique way, like where they were saying he's given a speech and he goes, and this movie's only like 140 minutes, so we've only got so much time to do what we need to do, sort of thing. And it was like it wasn't really like the traditional breaking the fourth wall kind of thing where they're just talking to you. Now I think there was one scene where they did do that in this movie, I believe, and yeah, I was actually kind of surprised by this movie. And I felt like even though it was an animated movie, just the cast kind of made it geared more towards adults. So this is about a dog who was, I guess, kind of living in a rougher neighborhood. He was being pecked on all the time, and his only dream was to become a samurai. And the one day, I guess, when he was being beat up in the streets or whatever, a samurai actually ended up coming up and saving him. But the samurai had lost his sword, so he has to go to he has to go to this town of all cats. And obviously, we know the infamous thing about cats don't like dogs. So when he gets to the town and he becomes a new samurai, when he originally gets there, all the cats are trying to kill him. Because obviously he's not going to be well received because dogs can't be samurai. But as the movie goes along and he gets trained by Jimbo, Hank sort of becomes the like the favorite of the town really. But then he ends up kind of screwing up and leaving the one night with Ikachu, who was the main cat, who was the one who recruited him, because when Hank originally gets there, he just goes straight to prison because he's a dog, right? He's not supposed to be there, so he gets jailed immediately. And I think he was set up to be executed, and then Ikachu has the idea, obviously, to make him the samurai for the town that he's planning on destroying anyway. Um, and I guess it was, oh wow, Mel Brooks played the Shogun? Cool. Okay, and then Kylie Kuika played Amiko, who was the young cat who really became friends with Hank throughout the movie. And at the end of the movie, when the Shogun ends up giving Hank the sword, he then presents it to her and says that she's going to be the next great samurai of the town. Obviously, after Hank leaves or passes away. Um, and I believe that Jimbo gets his job back with the Shogun because the Shogun had said that despite despite Jimbo's memory of the events of his birthday, the Shogun said that was one of the best nights of his life. And the Shogun remembered it, or Jimbo remembered it as a very horrible night because he ended up hurting a lot of the Shogun's family members and destroying the cake. And yeah, it was just like, yeah, it wasn't a good memory for Jimbo. But the Shogun was like, yeah, like, what are you talking about? I worked my way up through the ranks or whatever, and look at where I am now. So I guess he didn't really, I guess he didn't remember or didn't realize that the man he was with at that point in time was the Shogun, because I guess it was just his master at that point, right? So yeah, he had just become the Shogun after after so many years. And then I think George Takai, who played Oga, was the one who was like the main. I believe he was like the main sidekick cat of Ikachu, right? And then Gabriel Iglesias played Chuck. Which one was Chuck? Oh, I think Chuck was one of the cats that didn't want to admit that he was a fan of Hank, so he would go behind people's backs and um, pretend that, or yeah, he would say, "Don't tell anybody that I'm a fan of yours or that I'm giving you this," so on and so forth. And then I think Ichiro was the other one, the other cat that was um, the other cat that was like infatuated with Hank but didn't want to admit it. And then we had Sumo, played by Damon Hansao, and he was the one that Ikachu sent down to, I guess, destroy the town in the beginning. But then, with the obviously with the help of Jimbo, Hank was able to take down Sumo, and then him and Sumo end up becoming friends, and then they team up to take down Ikachu. So it was just like kind of everything came full circle, and it was just like a really wholesome movie where everybody became friends and everybody um, kind of had a reality check really for a lot of them. Because without Hank, I don't think I don't think Jimbo would have been able to put down the battle because he was always getting drunk on catnip, and that's pretty funny. And I don't know how Samuel L. Jackson kept a straight face with some of his lines in there, because it was it was if you know Samuel L. Jackson, you know he swears a lot. So in this movie, he had to refrain from that, obviously. So it was just like absolutely hilarious. Some of the lines that he had to throw out, like "What in the mother, father, cocker spaniel is going on here?" Like certain lines like that were just absolutely hilarious. And obviously the training montage was pretty funny. And yeah, it was. This was just an all like really good movie. For I was kind of blown away. I was going into it with low expectations when I seen it, but yeah, I was kind of surprised by the animations and the I guess adult jokes really, because it's a Nickelodeon film and Nickelodeon's really geared more towards kids. But I guess they're kind of maybe trying to branch out of their comfort zone, because I know a lot of the other animation companies are doing that now, where they're kind of doing the movies more towards geared towards the adults, it seems, which I like, because yeah, it doesn't make me feel weird about going to see an animated movie at my age. Um, but I guess a lot of these animated movies that are coming out are based off of like things we used to watch as kids, like The Addams Family, and I mean the first Despicable Me movie. When did it even come out? I could have been too old. And then yeah, what else has been an animated movie that's come out recently that's like kind of based off what we watched when we were kids? I mean, Toy Story is a good example. Toy Story 4 came out a few years ago. Um, what else? There's just been a lot of animated movies that have come out based on shows and movies and stuff that we used to watch when we were kids, right? So I feel like it kind of makes sense that even though these movies can be for kids, that they do put the adult jokes in there that the kids aren't going to get for like 15, 16 years. Um, yeah, which, I mean, for God's sakes, they were doing that when I was a kid. They put in lots of jokes that I didn't understand. And then when you're watching the movie as an adult, you're like, oh, I get that now. That makes sense to me. So yeah, I think it's important for the adult to have a laugh as well at the theater with these animated movies, as well as the kids, because obviously the kids are going to laugh because the adults are laughing, but they don't really understand it, but they're laughing anyway just because the parents are laughing. So yeah, and laughter is the best medicine, right? Humor is always um, humor is always good. And I feel like in this film, Ricky Gervais was kind of able to say some jokes in the movie that were kind of on the border. I believe a couple of them were kind of on the border of like, ooh, that was a little racy for an animated movie, but I guess they Nickelodeon was letting him get away with it because maybe he wanted to kind of be himself within the character, and I kind of feel like he did a good job of that. And him obviously trying to show off for the Shogun, and then when the Shogun finally does show up and he realizes that Ikachu is actually the bad guy, was like absolutely hilarious. And then they end up, I'm pretty sure they end up arresting Ikachu, don't they? I think that's how that went down. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was just kind of funny to see the layers of the town or whatever that Ikachu was trying to destroy, and then it ends up being the toilet overflows, and that's how that's how the battle starts or whatever. So yeah, it was kind of funny. Yeah, lots of laughs in this movie for sure, and there was many different styles of animation to this movie. Like there was like the kind of like the comic book style animation, when Hank's talking about like his backstory, and I think that might have been kind of it, was like the samurai type animation or comic book animation that they used in some of the scenes. I'm trying to think if they used really anything else besides that. But yeah, I really did enjoy this movie. I'm yeah, I'm trying to think of what else I can say really. Um, Besides that, what? How did they defeat Sumo? It was the something beans, or maybe it was it lentils? No, that wasn't it. Hmm. I'm trying to remember how they defeat him, but I believe flush they flushed Ikachu down the toilet at one point. I know that much. And then I think that's how the toilet overflows because his henchman's there to save him or whatever. Because him and Hank have like a battle at the end of the movie on the toilet there. And then he has like his army come down, um, which is basically just like anybody he could have recruited. Pirates. One of them looked like a submarine. I'm not really sure who they were supposed to be. Um, They obviously had like the samurais. What else did they have? They had a whole bunch of like biker gangs and stuff. So yeah, he was just recruiting a whole bunch of people to try to take down Hank because nobody else was able to do it. It seemed that everybody that went down there either got defeated or became Hank's friend because Hank was just a genuinely nice guy, even though he was becoming a samurai throughout the process. And it is funny at the end because Jimbo does defend Hank and says that he is their new samurai, and they're thinking, "Oh well, why aren't you the samurai?" And he goes, I've never been the samurai here. It's never been me. I've just been the trainer. The rest of these guys are my trainees." And when the first samurai ran away, obviously they needed a replacement, so they got Hank, and it ended up Hank was kind of the savior of the city, because he was the one that came up with the plan to uh, fold a whole fake paper city and then just blow it up with the whole army in there. So yeah, they were very creative in their way of taking down the army for sure. Uh, and obviously um, the mother of the mother of Amiko, who was Yuki, I do believe, and then the older lady must have been played by Kathy Shim, Little Mama. Yeah, that must have been it. Was the one that was like the older lady. But I believe Michelle Yu was the one that played Yuki, was Amiko's mother, who ended up giving Hank a gift at one point in time. So I guess she kind of learned to kind of respect him, even though he was a dog, and a lot of the cats were saying that dog can't be samurai, but Amiko and her mother learned to respect him in the end of the movie. So yeah, kind of cool. Um, yeah, that I guess the point of the movie was kind of showing that even though you may be very different from somebody, you can still get along with them, regardless of, yeah, like who they are as a person. It's okay to become friends with, I guess, it's okay to become unexpected friends. Is that a good message? I don't really know. I'm kind of trying to process that one in my head too. Anyway, I gave this movie a 9 out of 10 because I thought that's what it deserved. Very funny, lots of action, uh, star cast, like just a crazy cast for this movie. And yeah, I feel like it's a family movie that you can take your family to, or you could go see with a group of friends if you're my age, because I feel like it's just one of those movies. Or you could watch it to the comfort of your own home, because I'm sure it's probably going to be available soon, or maybe even by the time this review comes out. But anyhow, I am going to go eat something because this is the fourth video I've talked in today. So I got to go eat something and maybe just watch something for a little bit and then do some more reviews because holy crap, it's already 8:45 in the morning. So yeah, I guess I'll see you guys in the next review. Bye bye for now.